Hey guys, we have so much catfighting and gossip going on today on the episode 3 of the Rich Kids of Beverly Hills Gossip Girl. I'm your host, Hayley Clover. We've got so much more for you, so don't go anywhere.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
We all going
every time,
doing the same thing.
It's about to be a girl fight, girls.
But not between us.
Not between us.
Because we're good.
No, we're good.
Yeah.
But we will see how we all stand on all of the fighting and gossiping that's going on. We'll see if we all agree, if we disagree.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that. We've got a lot going on. But first, who are you guys? Introduce to everybody if you're just joining us for the first time.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Leone, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jennifer Leone TV.
I'm Erica Shannon. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Airy Baby and on Instagram at Miss Airy Baby LA.
Sweet. What'd you guys think?
I
Good
love this episode.
Yeah,
So
it
good.
was good. It was a good one. I was just going to say you didn't introduce yourself.
I did, right at the beginning, but again. No, it's okay. I'll introduce myself again. I'm just kidding. I'm Hayley Clover. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Hayley Clover. I like it. They're playing the music longer today.
Yeah.
We get some more dancing.
Girl fight.
Set the mood.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Lots of drama. I want to dive right into. I thought we'd start with Brendan's return. We've got the whole cast back. Brendan was gone. He was in Europe. It was his little getaway from Morgan's craziness, her bridezilla-ness.
He was gone for weeks. I didn't realize until Morgan said he's been gone for what she said 3 weeks, I think, a few weeks already.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
I thought it was very surprising too that they really didn't talk much. She didn't know when he was coming home.
Yeah.
That was a little scary.
And it was like, oh, Instagram post letting you know I'm okay, but I don't want to talk to you.
Right.
I still want my separation.
In his velvet suits. He's like, I'm in Morocco. I'm like,
so
I'm
great.
not allowed in the casino without one.
Living
love
life.
it. I love
Living
it.
life.
No, I love his posts. I think it's hilarious because, she got a taste of her own medicine.
Yeah.
I mean, you never know how it's going to be, though, because I feel like they haven't been together for that long. And, this is the first time that they've gotten into a real big fight, and then he just, ran for the hills, like she said.
Right.
So, I don't know.
It just happens to be right before their wedding.
Yeah.
Well, not right before. We still have, 6 months?
But still,
at this
I mean,
point?
anything past an engagement, it's like, if those are the
Yeah.
kind of reactions you're having, it's a bit scary.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I do always like how they talk things out. I have said that since I started watching the show, that they're very honest with each other and just totally go at it until they figure out, what their common ground is going to be.
Yeah.
So they did both voice their opinions when they were sitting on the couch. I will say, Morgan apologized and she seemed like she was genuine, but I still don't think she understands that she was as bad as she was.
No.
Well, I think she does to an extent. I think she knows that she was affecting people, or her friends more specifically, and Brendan, and she knew that she was wrong, because I don't think she would have said she was wrong if she didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
But I liked the self-awareness in Morgan.
Yeah.
I did like it, how she was like, I know how I was acting, and I am sorry for that.
Right.
Yeah.
She did have her moment of truth. She's like, we both were wrong. He's like, no. I was just fine.
Right.
You're the one that had this huge bridezilla moment. And then she, kind of realizes, especially her talking to Dorothy and apologizing. She's like, oh, I deserve lunch. Yeah, well.
Yeah, she went on an apology tour today.
Yeah.
Or yesterday. I watched it today. I was glad that she apologized to Dorothy, too, because that was ridiculous. I think we all agreed on that one, that she kind of freaked out for no reason.
But I did appreciate that Dorothy admitted, she was like, it wasn't that I was mad, I just knew you needed the space. And so I left the linen store to give you that space. I appreciated that Dorothy was just as honest right back.
They know
to
each
Morgan.
other by now.
Yeah, and I did like, too, that she said, I'm not going to be able to be there for everything. It is a good point. She's not the maid of honor. She didn't get that huge responsibility. And like she said, maybe if it were a month out, she wouldn't have been so upset about it because, okay, I get it. You're super stressed. There's probably a lot to do before the big day, but we're still 6 months out. So
Yeah.
And I think Dorothy gave her 2 weeks. Morgan was like, maybe a month. And Dorothy was like...
Yeah, then she was like, maybe day of. Yeah. Random question. Whose apartment do you like better? EJ's or Dorothy's? I look at both of them and I'm like, shh. I'm in a 500 square foot studio apartment with no dishwasher.
Right.
I feel like we need to see more of EJ's, right?
I just feel like
it's
it's
just
not
empty.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of chandeliers and like a big throne.
Yeah.
Sometimes, that's all you need. It's just somewhere to sit and feel
throne?
glamorous and feel royal and regal.
Yeah.
Like EJ is.
Yeah.
He also had a moment of truth. In the moment where he's like, maybe I'm not very approachable.
Yeah.
And, we kind of have to change a little bit if we're going to allow more people into our lives and find significant others. I think maybe that's the issue for Dorothy, too. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, and it was funny because EJ said to Dorothy that she's like the most approachable. Do you agree with that?
I actually do.
She does seem that way. Yeah.
In real life, she is the one that, I've approached her and, she's very fun and sweet and she'll take pictures with fans and, Johnny, here, help. And like, they're very, sweet. I've seen EJ in the club. Like I said in the first episode, I've never approached him and obviously he's never approached me, but it's like, you feel his energy through the club. With Dorothy, it's like, hey girl, let's dance. So yeah, she's very approachable.
That's good.
That's
good to know.
EJ, I could see him on his, pedestal, not talking to anyone.
Yeah, and I almost feel like he doesn't mean to not be approachable. That's just kind of like his, energy.
Yeah,
almost because it's his clothes. He's feeling super confident now because of his new body, and like he's huge.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard not to just like be looking down on everyone, like literally. It's just like
I don't have that problem. I don't know what that's
No?
like.
No, I'm 5 foot. Yeah, there's no way.
I'm right in the middle. Right in the middle.
But his dad, being super famous, then of course
That's gotta be hard too.
right. You're
It's a
used
weird
to
upbringing.
that. Yeah, like always be putting yourself on that pedestal. I don't know.
I wonder, has this been always for him though, or
Well, probably his
as
dad's
he's
always
gotten-
been.
But has it been where maybe he's had a friend that's used him in some
Oh
way or
gosh, I'm
something?
sure.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that nobody has ever tried to use his connections for personal gain. But I thought it was funny that he still is like open to letting Dorothy put an IFB in his ear and walk down Rodeo and talk to random people in his fur vest.
Which,
That was
And
great.
white
if
jeans.
I have to say, I work near Rodeo Drive. They either drove around for a very long time to
find
find out
parking?
space, or that scene was already set up.
Little behind the scenes.
Go for it.
I watched Dorothy Snap that day. I watch it every day. But when she was filming that, it was really like a production. She's like, oh, I'm sitting here waiting for another 5 hours. So they were doing it for a long time.
Okay.
And like bugged everywhere. And there was a guy I know on her the roof of her car like this, like with a camera trying to get the right angle, and there were people literally just on top of her car, and she's like, okay, I guess this is how today's gonna go.
Right? Isn't that crazy though? Because it almost makes me like the show less, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Because it's like, God, it's so fake.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's
like
a phrase that
there's
Kevin
100 cameras.
Undergaro used to say called "Dick in the Soup," where it's like they intentionally put something in there to
get a react.
to make it to shake it up.
Might as well be a
He
dick.
would say that. Kevin is Maria's fiance, and he is a character. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
That's funny.
Yeah, he's got that Boston sass in
But
him. I love it.
I do agree with you, Hayley. It kind of takes me out of it a little bit because all this set up, and then you have to be natural.
Well, right,
and how
and they're
natural
not.
can you be?
Right, they're
Yeah.
they've got to be acting most of it.
Yeah.
Or at least putting something on to make it, interesting.
Yeah.
They're still funny people, obviously. They just have that, like, personality. But, it's just like...
Do it again.
Yeah,
Do it again.
Right.
Scream
You
louder.
expect these unscripted shows to really be unscripted when... I guess they are, but, like, they're still telling you exactly where to be, when, and all that kind of stuff.
But then you start to question, like, were these guys just random on the street? Or
Or
were
did they tell them to come
waiting?
up?
Yeah.
Well, I guarantee you they were waiting because I know you have to sign a waiver to be on the show. So they had them sign the waiver before they even filmed anything. So they know that they're going to be talking to someone. So it's not that random. And that's why most of them, I think, look so nervous because they've been waiting and they're like, shit, I'm going to be on TV.
Especially with personal things in your bag.
Oh, yeah.
You think they were drugs?
Who knows what they...
That's weird.
I think he was just maybe a little weird.
Yeah.
He probably had like normal shit in his
Like a
backpack.
notebook
Like he was
and-
going to work out and it was like shoes and sweatpants and he was like, oh, my personal stuff? I don't know.
Yeah,
because
what are you doing?
Soul Cycle's around the corner from there, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
when EJ goes, I'm hunting for men, the minute that he said that, the guy's like, okay, bye.
Now it's my time to.
Now it's time to go.
Oh man, well we'll see more of his love life. I think now that his friend's really in the picture and they're kind of pushing that storyline for him. So
Yay, we love Drew.
Speaking of though,
yeah.
when EJ and Drew were talking and they mentioned corn-fed, and then EJ calls Drew corn-fed.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah.
2
Yes.
episodes ago we were like, were they ever? I don't know if they
Good
were,
point,
but
Erica.
might.
I was thinking that. I don't know if I think he's cornbread at all. Like when he said he wants a farmer, but not really a farmer, someone that looks like a farmer. I'm thinking like Chris Soules from The Bachelor, or like someone more rugged that has like some scruff on his face, not
clean-shaven boy band.
Yeah.
Former boy
right.
bander.
Trouble.
Which somebody, I don't know if we wrote this down, somebody commented on YouTube and did tell us the band, so thank you.
I am him. I had never
heard of him either.
In the early 2000s, so not the 80s.
Correct.
Just probably an 80s producer, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Something happened there.
Or they did it on purpose. Yeah.
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah. But yeah, he had trouble with the caviar, and I don't think,
They've never opened their own caviar.
Yeah.
Never had
What a
it.
poor problem to have.
Yeah.
Excuse
Well,
me.
having-
Have you ever had caviar?
On my sushi, but that's it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've tried it once. It's pretty good. It's just kind of salty.
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know if I would ever crave caviar.
No.
No.
Unless you have it on those little
Crackers with champagne.
Yeah. Something to elevate
So fancy.
elevate the taste.
I don't know. I like Mexican food.
There you go. Well, speaking of Mexican food and someone who loves hot sauce is Bianca, which I know from talking to her. She carries hot sauce in her purse. At least that's what she told me. She
Go, girl.
loves it.
Before
What
it
kind?
became popular.
Oh, we went. You'll have to go over and watch the interview because I couldn't even list off all of the hot sauces she told me. I mean, she went through an entire list of hot sauces, and I was like, Frank's is the only one I really know. Frank's and Tabasco, and but yeah, she had a whole list, and she was like, this is good with this, this is good with this, and then she was saying you can't do Chinese food with what is it, Cholula? Is that one of them?
yeah.
Something you can't do it with that. And I mean, she had a whole
So you got an education
tutorial
on hot
of
sauce.
how to use hot sauce on what food. Yeah.
It's very nice.
I have a new respect for her.
Yeah.
Like, I love her now. I
Yes.
loved her before, but now I really love her.
Okay, so how did you love her birthday party? What'd you think?
Love the birthday party.
It looked fun, right?
Jury's still out on Bianca for me.
Okay.
Still out.
Why is that?
Because at the birthday party, she was cool. She was fine. Even when she was explaining to Dorothy and Johnny, like, the trouble that she's had with Brendan and her brother, that was fine. But then when we get to the end of the episode, the way she was talking to Morgan, it just still makes me a little uneasy. And then previews for the next episode, the conversation that she'll have with Dorothy.
Oh, that's so funny because I'm the complete opposite.
Okay.
I thought she was a little more stuck up at her own birthday party than she was actually talking to Morgan at the end.
I thought she was real talking to Morgan.
Me too, and I was very surprised, and we'll talk about this more, at the end. We'll end with the cat fight, but I thought she was, trying not to really be that rude about Brendan or anything.
She never said one bad thing.
No.
She was just like, this is my issue with this person. I understand that you're, gonna marry him, but this is my situation.
Right. She even told Morgan, I have nothing against you at all. It's just he hurt me, and it's really hard to get over, pretty much. And
Right.
So I didn't mind actually how she was talking to Morgan at the end, but her birthday party was a little different. Definitely a different crowd of people.
Yeah, Lily. I was like, oh, that's so cute.
I was surprised that they were
crossover.
from the Shaws of Sunset. If you remember Lily. I didn't know that they were friends.
Yeah, neither did I.
That was interesting to see.
But like little backstory, with the house, and I guess those are rich people problems,
Right.
You didn't get 30,000 in commission. Well, this is why. And I don't know. I think that's interesting that they still have. I don't know. They have like catty fights, but they dig deep. I mean, they hit where the money is. I don't know.
Yeah, and Brendan, like he says 100,000 times, is that's the most important thing to him is his business, and it's taken him 10 years to really build his, reputation and all that kind of stuff. And so I can understand why that would be, bad for people to see on camera and see on the show because, there's certain things he won't want to talk about. But at the same time, like, dude, you signed up for a reality show. Like, they're going to talk about your business.
Yeah.
And it's helping your business, let's be honest.
And I completely understood when he had that moment when he was talking to Morgan and Johnny I think he was more so freaking out about it being on camera.
Absolutely.
Like if it was just the three of them talking at the restaurant, I think he would have been able to go back and forth and be like, well, this is how I feel. This is what happened in, from my vantage point. But the fact that it was on camera, he was like,
right.
No.
I also think that a big part was he didn't want people for his business to see that he was calling a female a hooker. Like, I don't think he wanted anyone to be like, oh, wow, he's such a,
misogynist or
whatever.
Like that.
Because he does get very defensive, and it is kind of, the whole situation is kind of confusing because Bianca, they keep acting like she has no money, like with these trips and stuff. But right off the bat, Johnny says, she's got Latina money, like she's loaded.
Yeah.
But then they act like what did EJ call her, a trip?
What was it? A trip girl.
Trip girl. Yeah, like she somehow gets all these trips, and it's like Lala on the.
I wanted to say that. Okay.
On Vanderpump Rules, who admits that these guys take her on nice trips. She doesn't have any money, but I think it's the total opposite now. Is she actually does have money, and her parents are just paying for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. I think that the whole thing with the reactions being as crazy as they are, again, it's the show.
Right.
But I loved the Derby. I think that that's totally just, I don't know, unique, and not a lot of people do it. Anyone could go to a club.
Right.
She just did it very classy. I think
and
it was
it's
pretty
fun for them. They have money to bet, on all those horses, and it didn't look like anyone won.
No, that's what I was
I did
watching.
like that swag money one, and Dorothy was like, how did no one bet on swag money? Like, I think that would be one of the first ones.
But I was looking at that and I was like, this is exactly why I can't gamble, because who was second? Johnny's horse, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, if it came down where it was like an inch, like I would have flipped out. I would, like,
if you lost that money.
I can't. Happy birthday, but I gotta leave.
Well, the ending part of that, did you notice when Johnny and Dorothy were talking, they were talking about Bianca and Morgan and if they were going to get along. I've noticed that they've talked more about Bianca than Bianca's talked about any of them negatively.
Absolutely.
Even talking about the party, saying that it's a cocktail party, it was so just in passing. It was not, I don't think it was meant to hurt anyone at all. And I'm like someone who looks at someone's inflections and how they say something, but I think she was just like, oh, that's a small number. It sounds like a cocktail party. Like, that's it. And I think that by Dorothy saying it and saying, oh, Johnny, guess what? She said it's a cocktail party. Like, they had a big conversation about it. It wasn't a big conversation. If you blinked, you would have missed it. And, like, I think that this whole thing is, like, stirred up by Dorothy, and they're actually talking more. And, at the end, they were like, oh, do you think that Bianca talks about us?
Right, like totally throwing that in there to, like, stir shit up.
Right. Well, no, they're actually talking more than Bianca is. I don't know.
That we can see, though.
Yes.
You have to remember.
Well, true.
The Dorothy, Johnny, Morgan, they're all friends. They're on this show together. We don't know what Bianca talks to Lily about, for instance.
Right.
We don't know if she's talking about Dorothy, if she's talking about Morgan, who she doesn't know. We don't know.
Very true. And we still haven't really seen a lot of Bianca.
Right.
You know, she's only been in these episodes a little bit now. And I think we see that kind of in scenes for next week, that there's an issue at Dorothy's party where she may be acting a little bit high maintenance. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I do think that Johnny is totally at fault at his own DJing party for stirring the pot. He didn't need to say, that thing about the cocktail party. You could tell he was just waiting for any moment to throw that out there. It was like, really, Johnny, come on. Like, come on.
Yeah, he blurted it out.
Absolutely. I mean, and then Dorothy, her face, because you could see that she doesn't mean that she's like holding anything back, but like that would hurt Morgan. So of course she's not going to say it. And she knows Bianca more, and maybe, like you said, didn't think that it was like meant to hurt anybody, because even Morgan said she, can like sympathize or understands people that say stuff for shock value. That's how she talks.
Yeah.
And to be fair, Dorothy, when she was talking with Johnny at Bianca's party, she didn't give the appropriate context. But when it was the three of them outside, she did end up saying, I don't think she meant it that way. She tried to smooth it over, one, to probably protect Bianca, but also to let Morgan know that, like you're saying, it was in passing. Mm-hmm. It was something. She was just talking about the size of the event, not the event itself.
Right. Not a dig. but everything out there is so, explode.
Oh my god. Well, this is a perfect title for this show, Gossip Girl. I mean, that's all they do is talk about each other and, try to get each other to talk about each other, and that's why we love it. But, they're all at fault, I think.
Pre-Housewives, I love it.
Right. Right, just in the making.
Yeah.
Did you think Johnny was a good DJ? You think that's a career move for him?
Did we really hear his music?
Well, we heard him sing. He was creating his first track and then playing a little bit at Pound 53, I think was the bar that they were at, which is right under Pearls if you guys live in LA. They kept saying he was playing some good music. I don't know.
I feel like the focus was more on the drama. Like, is Bianca coming? Yes. And then Dorothy's face was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So I was focused on that rather than what Johnny was doing with his music. But I bet it's probably good.
They were dancing
along
like
they're
it was.
dancing.
Yeah.
I just don't want him to DJ in a suit anymore. No. Like, that looked so not DJ-ish.
Like
that
Monaco.
one outfit from his photo shoot where it was like a jean jacket with the hoodie and like a white t-shirt under or something like that. That looked casual. That looked like he could move in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes suits are so binding and constricting. He just needs to be able to be free about it.
Move.
He looked like he was DJing a wedding. Or
like trying
a
to
bar
hug the
mitzvah.
crowd.
Yeah.
As Dorothy keeps
Yeah.
motioning. This is DJing for her. Yeah.
We do have to get him in here, though, to talk about his music and everything, because he's so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun. We can talk about him stirring the pot, too. The last interview I did with him last season, we were talking about how Dorothy was stirring the pot, and he was like, oh, yeah, she did not need to do that. Now I could be like, you did not need to do that.
Turn it right back
Catch
around on him.
Yeah.
Love it.
Exactly. So what do we think is going to happen with Morgan and Bianca next week? Does it escalate, or do we take a little break and then something happens, or just kind of like, just continuously gets worse?
I think it's going to escalate. I think that we're almost at the peak of it, and then it's gonna, keep going, and then the rest of the season's gonna be like that. I think that the next episode is probably a really big deal.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be the big showdown between Morgan and Bianca.
Yeah. Do we know how many episodes there are this season?
I think 8.
Okay, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
Halfway through is always usually the peak of all of the
Drama.
drama.
I was
yeah.
actually going to say the opposite. I was thinking that they're going to go their separate ways at the beginning of next episode, like continuing where we were last night. And then to defend Dorothy, I think Morgan's going to come back at Bianca.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think it might happen in the same episode, but I don't think it's going to happen at that
Defending
that same
Dorothy
moment.
from what? From Bianca?
Yeah. So
birthday.
whatever fight that they get into, I think Morgan's going to might step in and be like, whoa.
I could see that because she's very protective of, her friends and family and
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
rich kids. Another trip to Vegas. They love that place, but who doesn't?
I was going to say,
right?
who doesn't?
I'll be there in 2 weeks.
I'm going next week.
September. What is happening?
I was actually
Nice.
supposed to go this weekend, and then I'm going next weekend for the Billboard Awards. So.
Oh, fun!
Yeah.
Very fun.
That should be a good time.
I'll be on my Instagram and everything,
There you
talking
go, so
about it,
follow
tweeting.
her. Yeah, I'm just going for a bachelorette party. That'll be fun.
Oh,
That's gonna be a lot of
okay.
fun. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. Do we have anything else that you guys wrote down that you loved or really wanted to say, or should we do some predictions?
I just like the soap opera, The Days of Our Lives, and the Clueless references that Morgan made.
I was just going to say, I totally paused.
Oh, sorry. Morgan made the Days of Our Lives. Dorothy made the Clueless reference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dorothy, while they were driving, it's hilarious. I love that. Because they are the modern day Clueless. They're, Cher
much.
and Dee.
Are.
They are.
I never connected that.
They need to do a redo.
That would be fun.
It would be so cute.
Just have to see if Dorothy actually knows how to drive or not. But I think she does.
She talks
Well,
about
because you
it.
remember that scene when they're on the highway and she has no idea
Right.
what's her name?
Dion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out.
Yeah.
Which
gosh.
is so funny now if you do live in LA because the highways.
You never.
It's it's
you
a
don't have
lot.
that chance.
Right.
It's going to be driving me crazy.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know. Dorothy was saying how she's a good driver, despite her ethnicity. That's what she said.
Oh yeah, about the boat. That was a hilarious comment last season. Yeah.
But yeah, I totally paused. I love that. That was basically the big highlight for me. I love that.
Cool. Well, let's do some predictions.
I was just gonna say one more thing for me.
Yeah.
And this is totally random, but Eric, the officiant, or whoever Morgan and Brendan were answering the questions for, he reminded me of DJ Qualls. I don't know why. That just
The little guy.
yeah. He just,
Gosh, I skipped over that whole part. What do you think about their table settings? I liked how they interacted together then. It was all, harmonious, and they were nice, and everything was good. And I thought they were beautiful.
But she was like, what is this, for tampons? Get this out of my... yeah. I thought it was interesting because I liked it, but then I was watching it with some people, and they're like, well, you can't see the other side of the table. The flowers were so high, so I'm interested in seeing, how it turned out, because it depends on the chairs, depends on the table. So I want to see how the actual wedding looked. But from what I saw, it did seem like they were...
That's true. Yeah, they were pretty covered by all of the flowers. I mean, there were a ton of flowers.
You can't see anything.
Loved the tall candles in the glass. I thought those were beautiful.
That was pretty.
I did think that
like
Jim needed to go, though. That Jim was
Yeah.
just a little too
Tacky.
much. Yeah.
If I see a gem, I will be in a rash. I love that.
And
Yeah, so they were pretty, but I know I'm so excited to see the wedding special after all of this planning every week that we're seeing. I'm like, I just want to see it already.
Yeah.
But it's just another few weeks, right? The 19th?
19th.
Right. The financial advisor, when they were talking about all of that,
Loved her.
I loved her because she was the only one that actually kind of went against Morgan and was like, okay, well, how are you going to contribute? I'm not paying for a bill. Well, what are you going to do for credit? So she was the real, voice to Morgan, because I'm sure her parents aren't doing that. Her parents are like, well, okay.
Not anymore.
And I'm sure that financial advisor sees 100,000 LA couples that get prenups, and the wives are like, what do I do now? He was paying for everything, and I don't even know how to take the garbage out.
Yeah.
And I love that she gave her book. Her book was called Rich Bitch.
Yeah.
So I need to look that book up.
Yeah, she was like,
Yeah.
I'm making one of those, and the lady was like, a book? That's what you mean, right?
But Morgan said she's starting with a clothing line.
Touche.
And she has.
Yeah, it's
I
out.
seen
Have you
it.
looked at it?
It's cute.
The stuff is
It's
cute.
still expensive.
That's what
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Lulu pricing. So if you're willing to buy, nice clothes that are going to last you a while, then okay. But it's still
I don't know, Forever 21 leggings still work.
And I saw Dorothy in
totally works.
the green jacket.
That's
that
cute.
Morgan had. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really nice. Yeah. So one day.
Maybe she'll bring us some if we get her on the show.
Awesome.
Morgan.
I doubt it, but we can cross our fingers.
She should bring one and we can all try it on.
Share it. You get it every Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Wednesdays, we wear touche.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. We'll incorporate a little Mean Girls into there, too.
Yeah.
Do you have any predictions? Do we have some? Oh. Well, now we have the lights, so now we have to make something up.
If we didn't before, we do now.
Yeah.
Okay, predictions. I think that Bianca is going to have a meltdown after Morgan freaks out on her. I think that something big is going to happen in Vegas, and she's being herself and fabulous and all, but everyone's going to freak out, and probably Bianca just has a breakdown and goes, all right, bye, everyone. So we'll see. I don't know.
Okay.
That's
Good
my prediction.
I am just ready for this conversation about this security. Because my question is, why does she have security to begin with? I mean, I know you have family money and everything like that, but it doesn't make sense. So I'm ready to see this whole
I'm
blowout.
wondering if it's actually security or if it's the guys that she brought with her even here. Her, her hair guy, her makeup guy, because they keep calling it an entourage. So I'm wondering if she's bringing in, all of her friends that help her kind of just get ready, and then they're hanging out when Dorothy's probably like I invited my friends, I don't want your friends here, it's my weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So-
The one guy they showed looked really big, and
He
then
looked
she
like
said,
a
Oh, really?
yeah, and then she goes, do you want me to tell him to take you away, Johnny, or what?
I missed
Yeah,
that.
something-
And she even said herself in her own interview that she's like, she was in the airport with Dorothy and they knew Dorothy, but no one knew her. And so she'd be surprised if anyone even knew her out. So that would be kind of weird if she brought
Doesn't
security.
make sense. Is she doing
Yeah,
it
it
just
would
for
be
the
like,
show?
it's a bit much.
I want to see what happens with
Yeah.
that then. See the
too.
context, because I'm Team Bianca. So, I mean, I love everyone, but I
you
really
like
like her.
Hey, that's good.
She's real. I like the realness.
Good. Erica, maybe you'll know more of how you stand next
I
week.
was going to say, if there's anything about Bianca I like, it's her sneakers.
She's got sweet sneakers. I mean, she's got good clothes.
Yeah.
That is true. Well, we'll see. We will see.
Yes.
But for the meantime, where can everyone find you on social media?
I'm Jennifer Leone, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jennifer Leone TV.
I'm Erica Shannon, and you can find me on Twitter at Miss Airy Baby and on Instagram at Miss Airy Baby LA.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Hayley Clover. Please continue to subscribe to AfterBuzz if you haven't already. We have some amazing videos that are not about the rich kids of Beverly Hills, but you guys have been commenting along, and they're amazing. So keep doing that. We love reading them, and we will see you next week. Thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.